Here we are with our 4 cubic embellished right angle weave units. I have strung on 1 yard of my nanofill onto my needle, and we are now going to make these 4 items into a complete unit. If you haven't figured it out by now, this is what we're going to do with it. I'm going to make a cross, and it's large enough to be a pendant. It's too big to be earrings unless you are that girl, and I am not that girl. I wear post earrings and tiny little ones whenever I can. But let's get started making this unit. We're going to use some of our 3mm rounds to make this unit, and I'm with my pieces laid out like this. What I have to do is identify the top, because I'm going to put the tops together right now. And so if I'm laying them flat like this, you'll see 2 of the rounds. That's not what we want to present. What we want presenting is 1 of the rounds, and that's a little cumbersome because it can't lay flat due to the embellishments being right there. So I'm going to leave them laying this way for as much as I possibly can, so that you can see, if I put them like this, you can see the 1 round bead here, 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 and here, where we're going to make a unit. But I can't put these together. This is such a tight fit by putting them together as cubic right angle weave that it just doesn't work. So I have to add some beads, round beads, in between and make an embellishment as we go along. So I'm going to begin by using my bottom piece. Going to pass my needle into this top bead, and we're just making sure we're working on one side, passing it into that top bead there, and I'm going to leave approximately 6 inches of tail to weave in afterwards. It could be 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever, because we're not going to use this entire yard to make this, to attach these components. All right, so I have identified this bead as my starting point here, this one, and I'm going to string on a 3mm round, and I'm going to identify the one that I'm going to use on this component, and I'm going to make that this bead right here. So I strung on a round, and I'm passing the needle into this round right here. And I'm not going to pull these tightly, not yet anyway. Just want you to see what I'm doing. I'm going to string on another 3mm round and identify the bead that I'm using on this component and pass my needle through it. So I strung on a round, and I'm passing my needle through my identified top round bead. I'm just going to pull the thread here so that you can see what we're doing. Well, what I'm doing, there's nobody here working on this but me. I'm stringing on another 3mm round, and I'm going to identify the top round bead on this component and pass my needle this way. There you are, and one, and of course, pull my work on the whatever is on the side here. I'm always having occupational hazard like that. And one more time, okay, if you can see here, I've got a 3mm bead here, and I strung through this top. I've got a 3mm bead, and I strung through this top. I've got a third 3mm here, strung through this top, and now I'm going to string on my 4th 3mm round and pass it into, making sure that my tail thread is over here somewhere, and pass it back into the 3mm bead where I started, and you'll know which one that is because your tail thread is exiting it as well. And let's try this. Make sure I get it in here and making sure that I'm on camera. Okay, here we are. I didn't want to have to pick it up, but that's where we are right now. Okay, so I'm letting you see where I am right now, and I'm going to reinforce this unit, and I'm going to turn the camera off while I do that, but you can see when I pull here, this is what we're going to have. A slight mess, but it'll resolve once I do the other side. So with my 6 inches of tail that we're going to use for weaving back in, and the beads that I strung on and pulling tightly here, this is what we have, right? Yes, it's going to be wonky for sure, but I'm going to reinforce this, and as soon as I'm done reinforcing, I'm going to turn the camera back on and show you the next step. And guess what? That might be in 3 days from now, so we'll see. Talk to you soon.